Hello and welcome to the Stamp Camp. I'm Glenda Calkins and it's Thursday night, which typically it's one sheet wonder night, but tonight I am going to show you two different techniques that you can do with embossing folders. This month in my team meeting, I demonstrated different techniques that you could do with embossing folders. I like to take the product and show different ways that you can use it so it makes that product a better value. Now, embossing folders are great. You can emboss with them, but you can do oh so much more with them. And tonight I'm going to show you two techniques. If you stay tuned to my blog for about the next month, I will have all kinds of different embossing techniques to show you, some past videos, some new videos. We're going to have some fun with embossing folders. Some might be old techniques to you and some might be new. So let's change the camera and get started. Alright, so tonight I am going to be using the Shepherd's Care stamp set. Now this is just a stamp set. There's no bundle that goes with it or anything, but it's a gorgeous set for your upcoming Christmas cards. I'm also bringing in the Distressed 3D embossing folder. It is the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder, and this is the folder we're going to be using tonight. I'm going to show you two techniques using this folder. So let's get started. I am going to grab a piece of, I can get my paper here because I don't want to get my glass all inked up. So I'm going to just bring in an old grid paper here. Now, to do this technique, you are going to want to ink the side of the folder inside that has that Stampin' Up! Logo. This is the indented side of the folder. So I'm going to take the boho blue ink and I'm going to just ink the folder with the ink pad, direct to folder ink. Now you could use a brayer if you had a brayer, but I like to use the direct ink pad to embossing folder. Then I'm going to put in, I like to put it on the other side because I save myself getting messy or getting a flub up on my nice white. So I put a piece of white in there. We're going to close it up and we're not going to run it through the embossing folder. We're going to use the embossing folder like a stamp. So we're going to stamp that image onto that piece of basic white without embossing. So it's just a way to stamp. Use your embossing folders as a stamp. Now you could ink up just certain areas of it and just kind of randomly stamp it, but we're going to stamp the whole piece. Now you're going to want either a brayer to rub over the top. You can rub your bone folder over the top. You're going to need something to give a little pressure, but because of my wrist having problems, I'm going to use my elbow and we're just going to rub all the way around this piece of white cardstock. And then we'll lift up and look at that. It just stamped. It used the embossing folder just like I would have a background stamp. Just stamp that right on there. So that's the first way I'm going to use it. Then the second way, we're going to ink up the folder again. The boho blue, and then we're just going to take a piece of boho blue. I didn't cut this down, which is totally fine. Again, I'm going to put it on the opposite side so I don't get it all messy, and we're going to fold it closed, and then we're going to run it through our cut and emboss machine, which mine is at my daughter-in-law's house because she's working on projects for me. So I have a piece already done. So I ran it through the cut and emboss machine. I open it up and this is what we get. Tone on tone. It is boho blue ink with a boho blue background. And this time it is raised and the ink is down inside because we inked the indented side of the cardstock. So there's two different techniques that you can do with embossing folders. So let's take this one. We're going to bring in the boho blue again with our cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 by 11. Then I embossed a piece of white with that same distressed tile embossing folder, and we're going to attach that to this boho blue. Where did my adhesive go? I am going to use a liquid glue though, because it seems like every time I emboss it tears if I try to use my stamp and seal. So I think I got a little bit smudged too much, so we'll rub it on this. That would work good because we're going to be gluing that down. Look at all the tips you're learning here tonight. So it looks like my white, that's pretty good. So I have a little bit of that blue showing on the sides, just like that. Now I'm going to glue our stamped embossed image using that embossing folder as a stamp. How many of you have done that technique before? Or was that something new that you never thought of doing? Okay, now we're going to glue this down the center. Just a quick Christmas card. Maybe you're still working on your cards. You might enjoy this card. Or maybe the other one, whichever. So I'm going to just set that aside to dry. I already took the shepherd here and stamped it on white using smoky slate ink, and then I hand cut it out because there is no dye, so I hand cut it out. I'm going to use the boho blue blends, and I'm just going to color in a little bit, not all of them, but I liked just a little pop of this blue on my shepherd here. And I'm going to switch to the other side. It will a little faster. And then I'll come in with the darker boho blue. And I'll do just a little headband thing here. And then you can come in where it shows you where to darken or where the highlights are. And you can blend that out or leave it as is. Kind of like it just like that. And then I forgot to do his little band here around his waist. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop that up. Where's my dimensionals? I would like some bigger ones, but all I see is these tiny ones. Here's some side ones. Always good to use those sides up. Oh, here's a few on here. And then I'll cut a couple of these. And we'll pop this up on our card front. So just kind of like this. It fits perfectly up that center. And then I already went ahead and stamped and die cut using the Stylish Shapes dies, the Peace on Earth using the Smoky Slate ink. So I'm going to attach that boho blue strip. You know I like to make my little banners with the little strips. And I'm going to just cut like so, and we'll pop that up. I'm going to use one of these side strips. Works perfect. We're going to put that across the top. Now, isn't that a pretty card? Then I'm going to come in with the rhinestones. I think we've been neglecting the rhinestones lately. You know, you can color the rhinestones with the blends to make them any color you want, but I'm going to leave them. I like the clear, reminds me of diamonds, rhinestones. Where do I want to put these? I think I'll put one there, and then maybe I'll put the little ones on the banner itself. Like so. So isn't that pretty? That's using the embossing folder as a stamp, as like a background stamp. Okay, so now we're going to take this one. This one, the boho blue, we inked it up, boho blue, ran it through, it's embossed. We're going to attach it to some base smoky slate cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to attach that just like we did on the other one. And I want to make sure that I get good coverage because this one is going to be a fun fold. And so I want it good and inked. Move that so that it looks centered and it looks like I got the same amount of gray showing all the way around. Just going to give that some time to set up. We're going to come in with our shepherd. This time I'm just going to color in the band and his headband up here just to give a little pop of color, but not a whole lot. And then he's going to be popped up. So we're going to put some of these dimensionals on here like so. Now before I put them on, I'm going to make my fun fold. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to open this up and I am going to cut along both sides at 3/4 of an inch up to the score line at right there. And so I'm going to do that to this side as well. I'm going to bring this in at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut down to that score line. All right, now, let's see, did it go all the way through? This one, I don't think went all the way through. It's kind of a little thicker because you got that embossed image on that cardstock. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my side strips and I'm going to attach them to the inside of my card. Line them up, stick them down. Just like that. I have a piece of white already cut. And this is going to go right down the center, so you still have plenty of room to write. Plus, it kind of decorates your inside a little bit by bringing that embossed, distressed to the inside with the blue. I think that is just so pretty. Now the front. We're going to peel off our dimensionals. We're going to place, we left plenty of room width-wise for our shepherd there. And then I have, again, the banner die. And this time I'm bringing in the basic gray strip. We're going to pop that up. Let's grab some more side pieces here. And you can trim it before or after you put it on your card, whichever you prefer. Alright, and that's going to go across here. Just like that. So when you flip it up, you're going to see that, which I like. Not a problem. Now we're going to decorate it again with our rhinestones. And I think I'll use a bigger one maybe down here. There you have it, 2 fun embossing folder techniques, not just used for embossing, but to color your already colored paper, right? You could have done the colored embossing folder on white and it would have been like this, but it would have been embossed. And this is using the embossing folder as a stamp. So those are your 2 techniques for tonight. If you need any of these supplies, below the video it says show more. I will have the link to my website or my online store where you can purchase the supplies that you need. I do appreciate any and all orders. If this is your first time finding me on YouTube, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell in the upper right hand corner so you know when I come back live. And that is it for tonight. Thanks for stopping by.